of that is now word of mouth. Why? Because I've been consistent with doing it down through the years. So I've made so many contacts that they just pass your name on to this person, pass your name on, that you don't have to do anything. That's called open door, and that's called opportunity. So if you're talking about favor, that's favor. Favor don't show up and knock if you're not prepared. The only way favor is going to come in is if you're prepared. God is not going to say, okay, I'm going to give you favor and then let you go in there and make a fool of yourself. No, the favor isn't going to come until you're ready to receive the opportunity.
Exactly. Hello, everyone. This is Cresandra Washington, the CEO of Life Enhancement and Development Enterprises. And we are so thankful and appreciative of our guests for this series, Bernadette Hicks-Kelly, who has been with us, talking to us about manifesting the vision. And today we're wrapping up the transformation series with being who you see in your vision, being what you see, aligning your mouth and your words with the correct actions. And so today we're going to welcome Bernadette back with us again. Bernadette, thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you for allowing me to come back. I'm excited as always.
And today's show is pre-recorded. And so, I know some of you have been engaging with us, and we're not responding in time because the show is pre-recorded. But I guarantee you, we are going back looking at your comments and seeing your engagement with us. Thank you so much for watching and for going through this transformation series with us. So as I mentioned earlier, before that, we are wrapping up the series today with being who you see. Be what you see, aligning your actions with your thoughts and words. And so that's what Bernadette is going to talk to us about today. Give us some strategies. She is a transformation coach, and she is the CEO of Effective Transformation Coaching. So today, let's get right into it, Miss Bernadette, about getting these actions, doing something, aligning what your actions with what you say. Now, we've talked about, when we started the series, we started out talking about seeing the vision, thinking about your vision, meditating on your vision, believing what you see, believe that you can achieve it, believe that you can do it, which includes embracing and receiving what you see about yourself, or what it is that vision is that you want, whether it may be starting a business, being promoted on your job, health and wellness, getting healthy, really reaching your weight goals, whatever the vision is, whatever it is that you see for yourself, that you want for yourself, how to go about doing this. All of the other things starts inwardly.
Yes.
But speaking it is part of one of the things that you do outwardly to manifest what you see inwardly. And so today, being it is really also working on the outward to manifest what you see inwardly. So when we're talking about being it, what is a state of being? Does it have to do with, does it have to do with your behavior or your habits? What is that state of being?
I think state of being is definitely your behavior. It's your behavior, your outer appearance, everything. When you make up your mind, this is who I am, you're going to look the part. I remember reading an article, and this young lady said she always knew she wanted to be a doctor. She knew she wanted to be a doctor. So her mom went out and bought her a lab coat and put her name on it. And at that time, her name was written on a piece of tape, and her mom taped Dr. and I'm just going to say her name was Dr. Susie or something. And she put Dr. Susie and put her first name and put her last name on there. And she said and took a picture of her. And she went and got her little, hat and everything. So she looked like a doctor. And she said, no matter when it got hard in school or whatever, she would put that picture up and say, I'm going to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. She said she started looking like a doctor. She saw herself as a doctor. And as she got older, she continued to take more pictures. And she's had up that. She had the first picture she took. She had like the third grade. She had the fifth grade. She had college. She had all these pictures that she had taken in her doctor's outfit. And on the day that she got her doctor's degree and all of that from medical school, she took her final picture, and under she put final picture. This is who I am. And so I was like, that's my word. This is who I am. So I love that. I love this. So it just shows you that a lot of people have that same mindset that we're talking about. This who I am. Now, maybe you don't want to be a doctor, but you want a new look. So, go get the haircut, go get your hair colored, change your whole style, be who you want to be. Go to do a photo shoot. Some people have never in their life ever done a photo shoot. Go do a photo shoot. Go dress up to be the person that you want to be. Maybe if you want to be a business owner and you see yourself, I saw myself carrying a briefcase and wearing a white suit. I don't know why. I read it in the book. This lady said she had on a white suit. And she had a briefcase, and that's what I saw. And from reading that, that's who I became. I was like, that's who I see myself as. So sure enough, when I started my business, that's the first picture I took. I went and got me a nice business suit and had a briefcase, and that was my picture. And so, when I feel like I'm in a slump or whatever, and I want to do something different, I have creativity coming, whatever that new idea is, I go take pictures according to that. What we're saying is go dress up and look the part of who you want. Anytime you see a hairdresser about to open a business, what's the first thing they do? They get clients and start taking pictures of their hair. Maybe you're not going to have paying clients in the beginning. Well, you need some volunteers. You need some models. Come over here. Let me braid your hair free. I'm going to take some pictures. Let me process your hair free. I'm going to take some pictures of it. We got to do that and start with yourself. Don't just have models, but start with yourself. If you say you're a hairdresser, then I'm going to be first looking at you. So if you don't have any pictures out there of you, and every time I see you, your hair pulled back in a ponytail, I got some questions. and I know most, stylists, they're busy and they don't always have time. But if you go to their website, there's some beautiful pictures of them. The barbers, there's some beautiful pictures of them, not just of what they've done with their clients. I need to know that you can do what you say and what you look like. And all I'm saying to you is, in the morning when you get up, the only way you're going to comfortably say this who I am, you got to look the part.
Exactly. You got to, and that is the state of being. That is being who you see, being who you say you are. That is aligning your actions, because it requires some actions. And that may be that you see yourself making these six figures, being the manager of in your a place of business for the company that you work for, and driving that Tesla. But right now you're the administrative assistant and you're driving a Honda.
Exactly. But you go take a picture. But with saying that, this is what I want to talk to people about when you're saying fake it till you make it. Don't get stuck at fake though. Don't consistently get stuck at fake, because if you get stuck at fake too long, it becomes your lifestyle. You're going to be stuck in that place where you're pretending to be something you're not. No. We're saying fake it till you make it, in the sense of you're doing something to move forward. Don't get stuck fake it till you make it and let that be your happy place. No. That's a moving on stage. Put a date on this, fake it till I make it. Now, it shouldn't be 20 years. No, you shouldn't still be faking it till you make it. And you're saying you're a catering service and you don't have a name brand, you don't have a business, you haven't catered an event, and it's been 20 years. No. Stop saying I'm gonna no. You've been doing that too long. I would say if you're going to fake it till you make it, 2 years should be the max.
Yeah. And I think it's the point that you're saying. You're not pretending to be something that you're not. You're not pretending. I thought about maybe I want diamond earrings, or I want to wear Gucci or Armani suits, or I may not be able to afford it right now, but
absolutely.
You can go to Ross, dress for less. You can go to Marshall's. You can go to, and I'm gonna tell you now, some of these consignment shops,
Yes, you
You
can
can
go and
go
get
and
those
you
friends.
can put together a wardrobe, put together a nice
Mhm.
wardrobe. You can buy some earrings that may not that that if you like that glittery and
Yes.
shine,
You
buy
want to
you
bling
some
bling?
costume jewelry. Yeah. We don't want people to do when we're saying being it, we're not talking about, and that's why I wanted to bring it, want you
Yes.
to bring that out. We're not talking, sometimes people go run up credit cards, get in
No.
debt, trying to pretend to be something that that they're not. That's
No.
not being wise, and that's not manifesting your vision. That's being foolish. That's
I just want to share this. I had a client, and when I first met her, she talked about that she buy a suit every week. She said, I've never worn the same thing twice. I buy something new every day. She's like, my friends and my family members, they always talk about, and it was just a joke and she was laughing. And by the time she finished, she was crying. She was like, I've pretended so long now, I'm keeping this up. But just what you said, she had maxed out credit cards. She was working so many hours just to pay for her lifestyle she wanted at one time, probably when she was younger, but as she got older, she realized it didn't make sense. But she felt held captive to that lifestyle because people were on the outside looking in. I said, set yourself free. I said, set
yeah.
yourself free. And you don't have to do that because but she said, but my friends and my family always say, I said, they say that because you said that. And how you change what people say about you is you change your wording. Now you say, I'm not young and dumb anymore. Start there. Just start saying, you know what? I did that because I was young and dumb. I am no longer young and dumb. I said, the moment you start saying, I am no longer young and dumb and making dumb decisions, they'll respect that and be like, oh, she don't do that no more. She used to do that when she was young and dumb. They're going to repeat what you say. And so that's why it's important of the things that we say about ourselves, because people are going to repeat what we say about ourselves. They don't always repeat what they hear other people say, but what you say, again, I'd love to go back to say, when I start saying I am an expert, yes, someone else said it first, but the more I say it now, guess what? People repeat exactly what I say. So when I called and they're trying to get me on their schedule, I said, well, just let your staff know the expert was coming in and I'll be that was an uncomfortable word for me. But so when they started calling me an expert, well, guess what? I went in looking like an expert. So I had matching, my whole staff would come in. They had matching shirts and we had name tags and we had briefcase and everything was matching because what? Not only do I want to be called an expert, I want to look like an expert. And now that required me to do things in excellence. So a lot is tied to being who you say you are. So if you're saying you're professional, you can't just look professional, but your services are tacky. No, your services got to be professional if you're saying you're professional. If you're saying you're an expert, but you don't know the subject that you need to master, then stop calling yourself what you are not. So only call yourself what you are when you mentally, physically, and now you're really ready to walk into that place.
Because the inward transformation takes place first.
Yes, absolutely.
The inward transformation takes place because once the inward transformation takes place, your mind, your thoughts, then it's gonna the outward transformation is going to follow. So can the outward transformation manifest without consistency on the inward transformation? Can I just does the transformation process take place with me being just doing things every now and then?
No, you're going to have to be consistent. Absolutely consistent with it. Once you make up your mind that this is something you want to do, I'm going to talk about being a consultant because that's something that I'm talking about in the near future. And one of the things I share with people about being a consultant, you're going to get a lot of no's. You got to first make up your mind that, okay, I know I'm going to get a lot of no's and it's going to be okay to get a lot of no's. I'm not going to let that get me down. Every day, I'm going to get up. I'm going to make the phone calls. But more importantly, I'm going to get up. I'm going to look professional. I'm going to sound professional. I'm going to make sure my resume look professional. Everything about you got to say, I know I'm a consultant. What makes me a consultant? I'm an expert in what I'm teaching. I'm an expert in what I'm sharing. So that's what makes you a consultant. Not that someone told you, know that you are an expert. The moment you become that, you got to do it every single day. And though I do training now for software. Well, guess what? If I don't train on that software, sometimes I'll forget it, like, oh, wait, what's that part? Oh, I remember. So guess what? I have to create me some manuals and I got to go look at it often. I can't, I work with too many softwares not to stay familiar. I do videos. Now, I don't do just videos for training. I go watch those videos myself so that when I'm standing in front of my class, I can easily answer the questions about those videos, because people are going to ask questions. And if you have not been consistently studying, if you're not consistently preparing yourself, you're not going to have an answer. And sometimes we only get one opportunity. And if you miss that one opportunity, it's gone. So if you're not prepared, it's because you're not being consistent.
Yes. That's it. Prepared. You have to be prepared. And the preparation comes in knowing that this is who you are.
Exactly.
This is who I am. So I have to equip myself.
But being prepared and being consistent, that's how opportunity comes. And that's when you're going to see more doors open. If you're doing stuff and you say, well, I've been doing this 10 years and I'm not seeing doors open, there's an area where you're not being consistent. Somewhere you're not being consistent.
Right.
So you got to figure out, well, how do I get these open doors? Because when you're prepared and you're consistent, those doors are going to automatically open. Period. And once the door open, there is nothing like word of mouth. I mean, you can, I rarely advertise. I pretty much don't market at all. Every client I get now is word of mouth. I mean, other than the life coaching and business coaching, I do marketing more in that area. But far as the consulting piece for hospitals and clinics and clients, I don't do any marketing for that. All of that is now word of mouth. Why? Because I've been consistent with doing it down through the years. So I've made so many contacts that they just pass your name on to this person, pass their name on, that you don't have to do anything. That's called open door, and that's called opportunity. So if you're talking about favor, that's favor. Favor don't show up and knock if you're not prepared. The only way favor is going to come in is if you're prepared. God is not going to say, okay, I'm going to give you favor and then let you go in there and make a fool of yourself. No, the favor isn't going to come until you're ready to receive the opportunity.
Exactly. I was listening to Minister Donnie Walker a couple of weeks ago in a Bible study, and he was sharing his testimony, his walk. He comes from a large family, and he said he was asking God, why is it that my siblings are prosperous and doing so well? And he said, the Lord answered him, he said, because you're not ready for it. You haven't prepared yourself. Once you get ready for it and get yourself in a position where you're prepared and ready to receive it, then you're going to see the same things happen in your life. And so he and then that's when he would say, mentally and spiritually, he was not where he needed to be in order to receive these things. So now he's in the process of preparing himself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually to receive these things that he knows that he's worthy of. And so we need to realize preparation is so very key and so very important. So now I'm going to give you a scenario, and I want you to walk us through something that how you work with your clients, because I'm a hands-on person.
I am a hands-on person.
I'm a hands-on person. Let's say, for instance, a client comes to you and she's a single mother. She has a child of 7. They say women are really excelling in being entrepreneurs in this particular time. And so this single woman comes to you. She's a mother. She has a 7-year-old child. She's working in a manufacturing company. She's making good money, but the kind of work and the environment, she's dissatisfied with that now. She wants to move on to something else. She has this job. She has to be at work at 7:30, get home at 4:00. She wants to go back to school, and she wants to get a degree in business so that she can position herself for a better job. Now, you've been working with her a while you've been helping her transform her thinking and helping her begin to work on her words, saying what she wants to see, and aligning her word with this vision she has. Can you give us 1 or 2 strategies that you will use to help her transform herself into this person that she sees walking across the stage, to receive this diploma, this bachelor's degree?
Yes, absolutely. The first thing I would do is have her to write down on the index card. This is my testimony, and my testimony is I am now a business owner, or whatever she wanted to be. You know, my testimony is I no longer work at this location. This is where I work. My testimony is I now make, $50,000 a month versus $10,000 a month. So I think being able to and put that all over your house and get the whole family involved. So I think when you're making a huge move like that, and it's a single parent's child, your child also needs to be involved. Sit your child down and say, you know what, this is what we're about to do. I'm about to go back to school, just like you're going to school right now, and some changes are going to happen. So mentally prepare yourself, your whole family, that changes are about to happen. Pull in, I would tell her, go ahead and pull in your support group, because you're going to need someone to help with cooking. You're going to need someone to help with cleaning. You're going to need someone to help with homework. You're going to need someone as a single parent to help with all of those things. Once you pull your support group in, now let's talk about your finances. Once we get your finances together, because really I want her to pay maybe the rent, the mortgage, whatever, up for 1 or 2 years, so that she can completely come off of that job. And while you're off of that job, you can focus on school, or you can work part-time. If we can get your highest bill paid up for a year, sometimes 6 months or a year or two, and then you can work part-time, you now can focus on school, even if that means going to school part-time on site and part-time online, or not on site at all and completely online. And maybe we can move you out of that job completely, move you into a remote position, even if that means it's paying less. It's it, because if we can free up your time where you can work remotely from home, make less money, but we've got those bills taken care of, you can afford to make less money. And because the most important thing is to get you that education, get you that degree. I would say, if you know the company that you already want to work with, go ahead and talk to that company and say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm preparing for. I'm going to go to school for the next 4 years, and I would love to come and work for you. Every year, go talk to them. This is where I am. I'm a freshman. Now I'm a senior. Now I'm a junior. I'm whatever. Go and continue to communicate with that company, because guess what? They're going to be like, oh, this person is serious. You know, they really want to work here. She's gone back to school. Maybe even apply for a job at that location, so that you have the ability to move up in the company, because some companies now are promoting from inside. So if you can get your foot in the door and you go back to school, tell them what you're doing. So that's where I would probably tell a single parent to start. And definitely the biggest thing is get those finances taken care of, so that you're not stressed out in the middle. It's going to be stressful enough, but if your finances are already in trouble, you don't want to make that type of change right away. Let's deal with the finances and then gradually move into that change.
Oh, that's really good, because I know I did that.
Yes.
I moved to another state.
Absolutely.
I like what you said, a support system. You need a team.
Yes.
You need a team because I guess the good thing would be to look at it as a project. Look at it. I need a team, and I need to know if you're all in, because for the next 4 years you're going to be on my team.
Exactly. And you're going to need, and I promise you, and I can share that, because I spoke from being in that place for a moment in my life. I was a single parent, and during that period, my daughter was still in school, and so I needed a support team. Yes, her dad helped out, in certain areas, but there were times that he couldn't get her, I couldn't get her, and I needed her to be able to get to school, and he needed to work. And so what I did was I stopped traveling and was home with her the last during her high school years, so that I could make sure she got where she needed to go. And when I couldn't, I was able to call my girlfriends and be like, hey, can you pick her up? Can you drop her up? I was able to call her aunt. Can you pick her up? Can you drop her brother, her sisters, whoever needed to come in and help do what I needed them to do? I'd already called and say, look, I'm gonna utilize my support team. Sometimes we ourselves make up our mind, well, nobody's gonna want to help. They ain't gonna. No, that's you talking. Ask. Be comfortable asking people. And I think one of the biggest things that happen is when we're making life changes, it takes us out
Mhm.
of our comfort zone. It really takes us out of our comfort zone. And until you're mentally saying, you know what, I'm going to be uncomfortable, and I don't care if I got to be under my this my new comfort.
Mhm.
Oh, this is my new
Mhm.
one right here, where I will call people and say, hey, can you pick her up? I will call people and say, you know what, I need $20, I need $30, I don't have gas, whatever. I will call and say, you know what, can you help buy groceries? I'm now got to go to the church up the street and get groceries. That's what we got to do when we're trying to accomplish something for real. Maybe you can't go to Publix anymore and shop every day, but you got to go up to the street to go to church and pick up you some groceries, or go to the food pantry. It's worth it. At the end of the day, it's worth it. You got to tell everybody that's what's going on with your life, but it is worth it. I promise you, when you look over 10
Uh-huh.
years from now, you'll be like, thank you, Jesus. I'll eat at the pantry every day. It becomes a new clarity. I'll use that word. It becomes, when you make up your mind that your dream is so important to you and it is so big, that clarity comes to say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay
Mhm.
if you got to move out of this house and downsize to a 1-bedroom apartment so that
Mhm.
2 years from now you can live in a 10-bedroom house. It's worth
Mhm.
it. The
Mhm.
clarity will come, it will kick in. It's okay if I got to move in with my cousin, my sister, 3 or 4 of us got to move in the house and share. It's okay, because at the end of the day, maybe God's telling you you're going to buy an apartment complex. Well, you got to downsize first, maybe, to get to
Mhm.
the apartment complex. It's worth it. It's worth it. I promise it's worth it. And so I tell people, get comfortable getting uncomfortable. And the
Mhm.
moment you get comfortable getting uncomfortable, the doors open. Just
Mhm.
I can't even. I speak from experience for me. Once I got comfortable and uncomfortable,
Mhm.
everything else just opened. It brought the consistency. Even now, as we do the videos and stuff, I'm not always comfortable even doing the videos, but I got comfortable being uncomfortable. And so now
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I'm at a hotel, as you see outside. This would never be something I would be doing. And just like, whoever hear me talking, that's fine. This is what I do. So people are passing by like, good morning, good morning, good morning. What do you do? So now it opens up another opportunity. What do you do? I do life coaching. That's what I do. So again, when we move into the position that God has opened for us and the doors that God has opened for us, when we move into those positions and say, this who I am, every opportunity will open. Life becomes easy. And I have got to the place where I really understand, and that's a whole nother subject, where life is not a struggle. Life does not have to be struggling. So when people say, you're going to struggle before, no, I don't say that.
Mhm.
I don't believe in that. I don't repeat
Mhm.
that, because life
Mhm.
is not a struggle for me.
Mhm.
Even when I wasn't where I am now, life was not a struggle, because God told me at one point when I got to a position, and he's like, you're not going to struggle. He let me know some things were coming, but he also told me that I wasn't going to struggle. And when I accepted that word from him, and I mean, he talks to us every day, even through the Bible.
Mhm.
Like, at that time, it was just an audible, a conversation. But he said, you're not going to struggle. So I tell people now, you don't have to struggle. You
Mhm.
have a father. Everything you need is in that book.
Mhm.
Pick up that Bible
Mhm.
and read it, and you don't have to struggle. And no, but you're gonna have to be uncomfortable sometimes, but
Mhm.
you don't have to
Mhm.
struggle.
That's right. And I really do believe this. Everything that we have, everything that he has prepared for us and who we are already exists.
Absolutely.
Already
Absolutely.
exists. So we're just talking about what we've been talking about the past few weeks, is
Yes.
how to pull what already exists out of the supernatural and
Yes.
make it show up
Yes.
in the natural. You
Gotta
have to
know.
know that
Absolutely.
this is just temporary, and this is where what I see is
Hmm.
where I'm going to end up. It's going to show
Absolutely.
up. And so
Absolutely.
my actions and the things that I'm doing, you might think I'm crazy.
Yes. Or it
You
seems strange. It's strange to you. It seems like I'm doing strange. I remember people saying, "You're just all over the place." Absolutely, I'm not. At that time, I was. It looked like I was all over the place. But
Mhm.
now, if you say I'm all over the place, absolutely, right? Like now, I'm out to another state. Next month, I'll be in another state. Next month, I'll be in another state. So the whole point was, yes, I am all over the place, but I'm all over out of the place in a good sense.
Mhm.
People say stuff to you in a negative sense. You're all over
Mhm.
the place because they have no idea what you're doing. They have no idea what God is moving you into. So to say that now, it's like now is the time you should be saying I'm all over the place because I'm absolutely all over the place at this time.
Yeah, and they use the term there's a method to my madness.
Yes, there is a method to my madness.
There's a method. You may not see and understand why I'm
Absolutely.
doing what I'm doing, and you may actually think that that I'm crazy. And your vision has to have clarity.
Exactly.
Which goes back to all the things that we've been saying over the past few weeks. You got to see it, and the more, and when you first start out, you may not have even when you're actually walking it out, you may not have all the things that you need to do, but as you go.
And you don't have all the pieces. You don't even know, and it changes. I tell people there is no end. It's like, well, how do you know when you get to? There is no end. There is no end, because when you get to one piece, then there's another door open. There's another door open. There's so many. It's a puzzle that's never ending. It's just you just keep putting the pieces together and keep putting the pieces, because God dreams so much bigger than us. I was like, my little dreams was nothing. Now it's like, oh my God, I posted the pictures, like, I was looking out this big country area from my bedroom window, like, wow. And just hearing the voice of God, dream bigger, dream bigger. There's still room. There's still room for your vision, no matter what it is. It's still room.
I thought, when you said that, it reminded me of the scripture in Isaiah 54:1, when he says, "Stretch out your tents."
Yes.
Stretch out the space. Make it bigger, because you're gonna break forth on the right and the left. So you got to think big. You got to prepare for big. And I know for a fact that even when you prepare for big, he still comes bigger.
Exactly.
He does, when it's true that when it says that he does exceeding abundantly above all you ask or think, that is so true.
It is
We'll
so
never
true.
be able to outthink him, and he keeps stretching. And I was just thinking about what you were saying when you were going to the food pantry, and when you were going to the consignment shops and all these things. Well, he was stretching you and building up your creativity.
Absolutely.
Building up he was helping you, and it is during those times that we find out that we can do more than what we thought we
can do. Exactly. And so God will give us something if we're willing to work. He will give us ideas, but we still got to work for it. It wasn't that it wasn't there for me. The business was there, multiple business was there, but I had to start and I had to do my part. So, and even now, I still have to do my part. I don't care how many doors open when they say, can you come and train on this software? Can you come in and connect this hardware? All of it, I don't know. So I still got to prepare. I got to study. I got to go to YouTube. I got to do research. I got to call colleagues. I got to ask for help. The biggest thing is I got to ask for help. A lot of times, some of the stuff I've never heard, it's like, I never heard of that software. I got to ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help.
Because you can't do it alone.
No,
you can't do it. You can't do it alone. You can't do it by yourself. I remember a former pastor of mine was talking about doing.
Yes.
If this is what you see, and this is your goal, this is how you get started. And he was saying that he was getting ready to build something, and he had this material that he needed to move, but he knew he couldn't move it by himself. Yes. So he just started trying to pick it up, trying to move it. And somebody came by and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I need to get this over here." So the man came back with a trailer and everything and moved it for him. But what if he had just been standing, just not trying to do anything, not trying to move toward what it is that he wanted to do or wanted to see happen? And so it is so important that you take some action.
Exactly. And even what we talked about a couple of weeks ago is learn how to receive help. Sometimes you got to know how to receive help. He could say, "That's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I got it." No. I mean, he cut your job in half.
Yeah. And don't get and when it doesn't, and sometimes we can't receive the help because it doesn't look the way we think it should look.
Exactly. Now that one I have learned. I have learned that. So now I train so differently. Here where I am, we needed some new staff, and they don't have a whole lot of experienced people. So I was like, let's go down to Walmart and see who's a good customer service. And they were like, You hire people from Walmart? Absolutely. Let's go down to the Dollar Tree. I'm looking for working people. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
working. Anybody's trainable. I was like, they're trainable if they're willing to work. It's
Mm-hmm.
but the issue not is do they have the skill set? We can teach them the skill set.
Mm-hmm.
The issue now is let's find somebody that want to work. Yes,
So you have to, when that opportunity comes, you have to be prepared. You have to
absolutely,
be ready, and you have to move with it. You have to move.
absolutely,
You have to move with it because you don't know how long you have to wait. You will have to wait for it to come back around again.
absolutely,
So you have to move with it. Well, girl, this has been wonderful. This
absolutely.
has been wonderful. So I hope you guys have gotten something beneficial from it, some strategies and tools that you can use to go forward in achieving your goals and manifesting your vision. This series has been wonderful. Take the time to go back and watch the previous videos because we went through the process. We went through the process of manifesting your vision. Well, young lady, thank you so much. And I appreciate you taking our time because I know you've been traveling and had a lot of things going on, and you took out the time to do these videos for us. So thank you so much. And we just appreciate all that you do, your skills and your gifts that you share. And sometimes you all, free,
Yes,
offering free services. So we appreciate you and thank you for being with Life Enhancement and Development and helping us to achieve the things that we desire to do, our mission and vision, which is to help people be the best person that they can be. Well,
absolutely.
yes. Well,
You're
we thank you
welcome.
all for joining us, and you all have a great, great evening and the rest of the week. And we'll see you next week on Life Enhancement and Development. Bye bye.
Bye.